My mother-in-law didn't know my baby monitor was recording when I left her alone with my newborn, and what she did made me call 911 immediately. Hi everyone. Before we dive in, show some love by subscribing and commenting where in the world you're joining us from. Alright, let's get back to the story. I never thought I'd be that daughter-in-law. You know the type, always complaining about their husband's mother, rolling eyes at family dinners, whispering complaints to friends. But here I am, 3 weeks postpartum with little Lucinda sleeping peacefully in my arms, and I can already feel the storm brewing. My name is Carol and I married into what I thought was the perfect family. My husband Hector comes from old money, the kind where his mother, Victoria Sterling, still introduces herself with her maiden name hyphenated. She's one of those women who wears pearls to the grocery store and has opinions about everything from how you fold fitted sheets to the proper way to raise children. Carol, darling, Victoria says, gliding into my living room like she owns it. Which, considering she helped us with the down payment, maybe she thinks she does. You look absolutely exhausted. When's the last time you showered? The comment stings, but I force a smile. I've been up every 2 hours feeding Lucinda, my body still healing from an emergency C-section that left me feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. Hector is back at work, had to be, his mother insisted, men need to provide, so it's just me and this tiny human who depends on me for everything. I'm managing, I say, adjusting Lucinda's blanket. The baby monitor on the side table blinks its steady green light. I'd installed the high-tech system last week, complete with audio and video recording, after reading too many horror stories online about postpartum depression and new mother anxiety. Victoria's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Well, you certainly need help. I've cleared my schedule. Victoria moves through my house like a hurricane in Chanel. Within an hour, she's reorganized my kitchen, criticized my choice of baby formula. Breast is best, dear, though I suppose some mothers just can't. And made 3 phone calls to her bridge club about my situation. I raised 3 children, she announces, taking Lucinda from my arms without asking. Hector turned out perfectly. You do well to listen. I watch her hold my daughter and something cold settles in my stomach. There's something off about the way she looks at Lucinda, not with grandmother's love but with something else. Possession maybe. She has the sterling nose, Victoria declares. Thank goodness. We were worried she'd look too. She trails off, but I know what she means. Too black. Too much like me. My jaw clenches. Hector and I have had this conversation before. His family's casual racism disguised as concern or observations. The way they talk around my blackness like it's something that needs to be managed or overcome. She's perfect exactly as she is, I say firmly. Victoria's laugh is sharp. Of course, darling. But you know how genetics work. Some features are more refined than others. The baby starts crying and instinctively I reach for her. Victoria pulls back. I've got her, she insists. You rest. Doctor's orders. But her hold on Lucinda seems wrong. Too tight. The baby's cries intensify and my maternal instincts scream. Something's not right. I need to trust my gut, but everyone keeps telling me I'm being paranoid. New mother anxiety, they say. Hormones, they say. The green light on the baby monitor continues blinking, recording everything. The next morning, Victoria arrives with suitcases. I'm staying for 2 weeks, she announces, brushing past me. Hector called. He's worried about you managing alone. My husband didn't mention this to me. When I text him, his response is dismissive. Mom wants to help. Try to be grateful. Grateful. For someone who's already criticized my parenting, my housekeeping, my appearance, and made subtle digs about my breeding capabilities. I'm supposed to be grateful. Victoria takes over immediately. She moves my nursing pillow. You're holding her wrong. Changes my carefully curated feeding schedule. Every 3 hours, no exceptions. And starts making suggestions about sleep training that sound more like demands. Crying builds character, she says when Lucinda fusses. My boys learned early not to be demanding. But it's the way she handles Lucinda when she thinks I'm not looking that makes my skin crawl. Too rough when burping her. Frustrated sighs when the baby cries. And those comments. Constant little jabs about mixed babies being difficult or colicky. You know, she says while I pump milk, some mothers just aren't natural nurturers. It's not your fault, dear. Not everyone is cut out for this. The words cut deep because I'm already drowning in self-doubt. Every new mother questions herself. but Victoria's comments feel deliberately designed to undermine what little confidence I have left. I catch her one morning roughly changing Lucinda's diaper, yanking the baby's legs with unnecessary force when she kicks. "Excuse me," I say, stepping forward. Victoria's smile is syrup sweet. "Just getting her clean, darling. Some babies are more spirited than others." The baby monitor records it all. Day 5 of Victoria's visit, and I'm losing my mind. She's undermined every decision I've made, from the pediatrician I chose, "Are you sure they're qualified?" to the way I've arranged the nursery. So urban. Hector comes home to find me crying in the shower. "Baby, what's wrong?" He tries to hold me, but I pull away. "Your mother," I start, but he cuts me off. "She's trying to help." "You're being ungrateful, Carol. She raised successful children. Maybe you should listen." The word ungrateful hits like a slap. I'm ungrateful for having my parenting criticized? Ungrateful for subtle racism? Ungrateful for someone taking over my home and making me feel incompetent? "She makes me feel like I don't know my own baby," I whisper. Hector sighs. "Postpartum depression is real, Carol. Maybe you should talk to someone. Professional help." He's pathologizing my legitimate concerns, making me doubt my own reality. I realize he's been talking to his mother about me, about my mental state, about my fitness as a mother. That night, lying in bed while Victoria takes the night shift with Lucinda, another decision made without consulting me, I hear something through the monitor that makes my blood freeze. "Hush now," Victoria's voice crackles through the speaker. "Your mother doesn't need to know everything, does she? Some things are just between us." I sit up, heart pounding. What doesn't she want me to know? The next morning, I find a small bruise on Lucinda's arm. "Babies bruise easily," Victoria says dismissively when I point it out. She probably did it herself. New mothers always panic over nothing. But I know what I saw. And the monitor recorded it all. I start paying closer attention to the baby monitor recordings. What I find makes me sick. During nap times, when Victoria thinks I'm sleeping, she handles Lucinda roughly. Not enough to cause serious injury, but enough to make the baby cry in distress. She pinches her when she won't stop fussing. She holds her too tightly, leaving red marks on her tiny arms. "Stop being so demanding," she hisses at my 3-week-old daughter. "Sterling children don't act like this." But the worst part is the psychological abuse she's already started. She whispers things to Lucinda that make my skin crawl. "Your mother doesn't really love you like I do. She doesn't understand you like I do. You're going to be my special girl, aren't you?" It's textbook manipulation, grooming behavior that starts early. She's trying to position herself as Lucinda's primary caregiver, her real mother, while undermining my bond with my own child. I start keeping detailed notes. Times, dates, screenshots from the monitor. I document every bruise, every rough handling, every inappropriate comment. My sister Jasmine, a social worker, taught me this. Always document everything. "You need evidence," she told me when I first started dating Hector and mentioned his family's behavior. "People like that are good at making you question your own reality." Hector doesn't believe me when I try to show him. "She's a little rough, maybe," he admits reluctantly after I force him to watch one video. "But she's not hurting Lucinda." "You're being oversensitive." Oversensitive. I replay the video where Victoria pinches Lucinda's leg to make her stop crying. "This is abuse, Hector." "That's not abuse," he snaps. "That's discipline. Maybe if you were firmer with her." I stare at my husband in horror. He's defending pinching a 3-week-old baby. He's so deep in his mother's manipulation that he can't see what's happening right in front of him. That night, I call my sister. "You need to get that baby away from her," Jasmine says after I send her the video evidence. "This is escalating, Carol. Abusers always test boundaries before they cross bigger lines." But Hector doesn't believe me. His whole family thinks I'm the problem. "Then you need to protect Lucinda yourself. Document everything and get ready to leave if you have to." I don't want to break up my family, but I won't let anyone hurt my child. The next morning, I tell Victoria I need to run errands and ask if she'll watch Lucinda for 2 hours. "Finally," she says, not even trying to hide her satisfaction. "Some alone time with my granddaughter." I leave the house but park around the corner, watching the live feed from the baby monitor on my phone. For the first hour, Victoria seems normal. She feeds Lucinda, changes her diaper, puts her down for a nap. Then Lucinda starts crying. The hunger cry that every mother recognizes. Victoria tries to give her a pacifier, but Lucinda spits it out and cries harder. Stop it, Victoria hisses. I just fed you. Sterling children don't act like this. She picks up Lucinda roughly, shaking her slightly. The baby's cries intensify. I said stop it. What happens next makes me scream in my car. Victoria shakes Lucinda harder, hard enough to snap her little head back and forth. Hard enough to cause brain damage. Hard enough to kill her. Shut up. Just shut up. You're nothing but trouble, just like your mother. I'm already running toward the house, dialing 911 with shaking fingers, when I hear Victoria's next words. Maybe if something happened to you, Hector would finally see what kind of mother she really is. 911, what's your emergency? My mother-in-law is shaking my baby. I'm sobbing, running toward my house. She's going to kill her. Please, you have to send someone. Ma'am, I need you to calm down. Are you at the location now? I'm almost there. I have video evidence. She's been abusing my baby and now oh God, she's still shaking her. Through my phone screen, I watch Victoria hold Lucinda at arm's length, the baby's head lolling dangerously. My 3-week-old daughter could die from shaken baby syndrome. Brain hemorrhaging. Permanent damage. Please hurry, I beg the dispatcher. I burst through my front door. Put her down. Victoria jumps, nearly dropping Lucinda. For a split second, her mask slips completely, and I see pure rage in her eyes. Then she arranges her features into shocked concern. Carol, thank goodness you're here. Something's wrong with the baby, she won't stop crying and I think she might be sick. But I saw what I saw. The monitor recorded everything. Give me my daughter. Now. Victoria hesitates, holding Lucinda protectively. I think we should call the pediatrician. You seem very upset. Maybe you shouldn't. Give me my baby. I lunge forward and Victoria finally hands Lucinda over. My daughter is limp, glassy-eyed, her breathing shallow. Signs of head trauma. Sirens wail in the distance. Victoria's face goes white. What did you do? She whispers. I called the police, I say, holding Lucinda close. And I have everything on video. Victoria's mask finally falls away completely. You little bitch. Do you have any idea what you've done? Who I am? My family will destroy you. You'll never see her again. The sirens get louder. Through the window, I see neighbors gathering, drawn by the commotion. We'll see about that, I say. The paramedics arrive first, rushing to examine Lucinda while I babble about head trauma and shaken baby syndrome. Victoria stands in the corner, already spinning her story about a difficult baby and a paranoid mother having a mental health crisis. But I have the videos. Officer, I tell the responding policeman, I need to show you something. The baby monitor system stores everything in the cloud. I pull up the footage from 20 minutes ago. Victoria shaking Lucinda, her face twisted with rage, the threats about something happening, to make Hector see what kind of mother I am. The officer's expression changes as he watches. Victoria's face goes ashen. Ma'am, he says to Victoria, I need you to step outside. This is ridiculous, Victoria protests. I'm a pillar of this community. I would never hurt a child. She's clearly having some sort of breakdown. Ma'am, we have video evidence of child abuse. You need to come with us. As they lead Victoria away in handcuffs, she turns back to me with pure venom in her eyes. This isn't over, she snarls. The Sterling family doesn't lose to people like you. But for the first time in weeks, I feel powerful instead of helpless. At the hospital, doctors confirm Lucinda has signs of minor head trauma. Not severe enough for permanent damage, thank God, but clear evidence of abuse. The pediatric social worker documents everything. The bruises I'd photographed, the videos from the monitor, the medical evidence. You did the right thing, she tells me. This could have been much worse. Hector arrives at the hospital in a rage. What did you do? My mother is in jail because of you. Because she was shaking our baby, I say quietly. I have proof, Hector. Video proof. I show him everything. The rough handling. The pinching. The psychological manipulation. And finally, the violent shaking that could have killed our daughter. For the first time, my husband is speechless. I don't understand, Hector keeps saying as we watch the videos together in the hospital room. Lucinda sleeps peacefully in my arms, monitored but stable. She raised me. She raised my brothers. She never what? Never showed signs of this behavior. Hector is quiet for a long moment. Then, she was strict. Demanding. But I thought that was normal. I think about Victoria's comment about her boys learning not to be demanding. About crying building character. About how quickly Hector dismissed my concerns and sided with his mother. What do you remember about being little? I ask gently. The conversation that follows breaks my heart. Hector describes a childhood of walking on eggshells, of never being allowed to express emotions, of being told he was too sensitive or weak when he cried. He describes punishments that, viewed through an adult lens, were clearly abusive. But she loves me, he insists. She loves our family. People can love you and still hurt you, I say. But what she did to Lucinda today, that wasn't love. That was rage. The Sterling family machine kicks into high gear. Hector's father calls with lawyers. His brothers call with character witnesses. His extended family starts a whisper campaign about my mental health, my fitness as a mother, my manipulation of the situation. She's trying to destroy our family, Hector's aunt tells him over speakerphone, not caring that I can hear. You know how these people are. Everything's about race with them. She's probably planning to take you for everything you're worth. These people. I've heard that phrase from the Sterling family before. But something has shifted in Hector. Watching those videos, seeing his mother's face twisted with rage as she shook his daughter, something finally broke through the programming. Don't call my wife, these people, he says quietly. And don't call here again. He hangs up, and for the first time since I've known him, Hector looks at his family with clear eyes. Victoria Sterling doesn't go down quietly. Armed with expensive lawyers and generations of family influence, she fights the charges with everything she has. Her defense strategy becomes clear immediately. Paint me as an unstable new mother suffering from postpartum psychosis. They dig into my medical records, my postpartum depression screening, every moment of vulnerability I've shown since giving birth. Mrs. Johnson has exhibited clear signs of paranoid ideation, Victoria's lawyer argues in court. She's isolated, sleep-deprived, and has a documented history of complaints about her mother-in-law. This is a clear case of postpartum mental health crisis being projected onto an innocent grandmother. They bring in character witnesses. Victoria's country club friends testify about her decades of volunteer work. Former employees praise her kindness. Her sons, all except Hector, describe a loving, devoted mother who never showed signs of violence. She's a pillar of the community, one witness after another declares. But I have the videos. Clear, undeniable evidence of abuse. Your Honor, my lawyer says, we're not here to litigate Mrs. Sterling's character or her standing in the community. We're here because she was caught on video physically abusing a 3-week-old infant. The courtroom is packed with Sterling family supporters. I sit alone except for Hector, who's been slowly pulling away from his family as more evidence emerges. My sister Jasmine flew in to support me, and seeing her familiar face in the sea of hostile strangers gives me strength. When they play the video of Victoria shaking Lucinda, several people gasp. One juror covers her mouth. Victoria stares straight ahead, her face a mask of composed dignity, but I see her hands trembling. This is what child abuse looks like, my lawyer continues. Not the dramatic scenarios we see in movies, but the everyday violence that happens behind closed doors when abusers think no one is watching. The Sterling family lawyers fight hard, but video evidence doesn't lie. Victoria is convicted of child endangerment and assault. She receives probation, mandatory anger management classes, and a restraining order keeping her away from Lucinda. It's not enough. It's never enough. But it's something. The months that follow are the hardest of my life. The Sterling family closes ranks around Victoria, painting me as the villain who destroyed their perfect family. Hector's relationships with his father and brothers become strained, then hostile as he refuses to come to his senses and control his wife. You've turned him against us, Victoria's sister tells me outside the courthouse. You've poisoned his mind with your paranoid delusions. But Hector is finally seeing his family clearly. In therapy, individual and couples counseling that he insisted on, he starts unpacking decades of emotional conditioning. I was trained not to trust my own perceptions, he tells our counselor. Trained to prioritize family loyalty over everything else. Even over my wife and daughter. We move across the country. Fresh start, new jobs, distance from the Sterling influence. Hector struggles with the loss of his family, but he never wavers in his commitment to protecting Lucinda and rebuilding our marriage. Lucinda thrives. At 6 months old, she's a happy, healthy baby with no signs of developmental delays from the trauma. The doctors say we caught it early enough. There shouldn't be lasting physical effects. But I still watch the baby monitor obsessively. I still jump when strangers get too close to her stroller. I still have nightmares about what could have happened if I'd trusted Victoria for even another hour. Trauma changes you, my therapist explains. But it doesn't have to control you. Slowly, carefully I start to heal. Hector and I grow stronger together, united by shared purpose instead of divided by family loyalty. We create new traditions, new boundaries, new definitions of what family means. Victoria calls sometimes, leaving voicemails that Hector deletes without listening. She sends cards on holidays that we throw away unopened. She's fighting to have the restraining order lifted, claiming she's rehabilitated, and wants a relationship with her granddaughter. The answer is no. It will always be no. 2 years later, we're living in a small town where no one knows the Sterling name. Hector teaches at the local community college. I've started freelance writing again, working from home while Lucinda plays nearby. She's walking now, babbling constantly, reaching for everything with tiny, curious hands. She has Hector's smile and my stubborn streak, and she's fearless in the way that terrifies parents and delights grandparents. Good grandparents, the kind who celebrate children instead of trying to control them. My parents visit from back east, and watching my father push Lucinda on the swing set Hector built in our backyard, I see what healthy family relationships look like. Gentle guidance instead of manipulation. Love without conditions. Support without strings attached. She's going to be just fine, my mother says, watching Lucinda giggle as she goes higher. You saved her, baby girl. You saved her before she was old enough to remember. That's what I tell myself on the hard days. When I wonder if I overreacted, if I destroyed a family over something that could have been resolved differently. When the doubt creeps in, the doubt that Victoria's expensive lawyers planted so expertly, I remember the video of her shaking my daughter and I know I made the right choice. Hector still grieves his family. He keeps a photo of his brothers from before the trial, and sometimes I catch him staring at it with sad eyes. But when Lucinda climbs into his lap and demands, "Daddy, book," he lights up with uncomplicated joy. I won't let her grow up walking on eggshells, he tells me one evening after we've put her to bed. She'll know she's loved exactly as she is. We've created something new here. Something better. A family built on truth instead of appearances, on protection instead of control. But late at night when the house is quiet, I still check the baby monitor. Some habits die hard. 3 years after the trial, when Lucinda is a precocious 3-year-old who insists on wearing tutus to grocery stores and knows all the words to every Disney song, the phone call comes. Victoria is dying, Hector's father says without preamble. Cancer. She has weeks, maybe days. I watch Hector's face crumble. Despite everything, despite the abuse and the manipulation and the legal battles, she's still his mother. The first person who held him, who taught him to tie his shoes, who was supposed to protect him instead of programming him. She wants to see Lucinda, his father continues. To say goodbye. The audacity takes my breath away. After everything she did, after the court orders and the restraining orders and the years of silence, she wants access to my daughter on her deathbed. No, I say before Hector can respond. Absolutely not. Carol, Hector starts, but I cut him off. No. She made her choice when she decided to hurt our child. I don't care if she's dying. I don't care if she's sorry. She doesn't get to traumatize Lucinda for closure. We fight about it. The worst fight we've had since the trial. Hector argues about forgiveness, about family, about giving a dying woman peace. I argue about protection, about boundaries, about the fact that Lucinda doesn't know Victoria exists and doesn't need to. She's my mother, Hector says, and his voice breaks. And Lucinda is mine, I reply. My job is to protect her. Even from family. Especially from family. In the end, Hector goes alone. He flies back east for 3 days, sits by Victoria's bedside, and listens to her final attempts at justification and manipulation. She never acknowledges what she did to Lucinda. Never admits the abuse. Never apologizes. She kept saying you turned me against her. Hector tells me when he comes home. Even at the end she couldn't see it. She died believing she was the victim. Some people never change. Some people take their toxicity to the grave. We hold each other that night while Lucinda sleeps peacefully in the next room, safe and loved and free from the poison that infected Hector's childhood. We've broken the cycle. We've chosen protection over family loyalty, truth over appearances. Victoria Sterling is dead, but my daughter is alive and whole and innocent. She'll grow up knowing she's valued for who she is, not who others want her to be. She'll never have to earn love through compliance or fear losing it through authenticity. That night, for the first time in 3 years, I don't check the baby monitor before bed. Some fears finally can rest. I keep telling myself I did what I had to do, but those family guilt trips really mess with your head, you know? Please tell me I'm not crazy for drawing this line in the sand.